Welcome back. I'm Walt Arnold, Managing Director at SVN Commercial Real Estate in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And my guest today is a advisor, senior advisor in our office, Tim Luten. And Tim has been involved in real estate for a long time.
46 years.
But I want you to tell me a little bit about how did you get involved in it? Tell me the start. What prompted you to get in real estate, and then also what prompted you to pick in multifamily as a profession, as a specialty?
Well, both my parents were in real estate,
Okay.
and so I used to work when I was in high school. I'd work the summer months in their office.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing paperwork, and on the weekends, my dad sold vacant land, so I'd go out and service his commercial signs, which need servicing.
Absolutely.
And as far as putting them up and taking them down, and then checking those signs on the weekends to make sure that the wind hadn't loosened them up. So I mean, it was quite a job. And so then I went to UNM for a year, and UNM and I didn't get along, so I left school, started making turquoise jewelry, and started managing apartments. And that's how I got started.
Well, that's a lot of people, I think, they start to see it. You start from the ground up. I mean,
Right.
You're working for your dad. You're taking care of real estate. You understand the background of real
Sure.
estate. Then you start managing apartments, and
Right.
you start to see, hey, this makes sense. And then, but at some point in time, you said, I want to sell these. So when was that?
Well, sold my first apartment building in 1976, and what happened was my dad sent me out to knock on doors like people do houses. Well, I started knocking on doors over in the Southeast Heights, and I went up to this little 11-unit complex that I think you're aware of over on Alvarado. And I went up to the manager's office, and I asked where the owner was. And he said, well, the owner and his wife are down painting this apartment. So it happened to be this older man by the name of Dan Reedhard and his wife, and they were painting this apartment. And so I asked him, would you be interested in selling? And he goes, we would consider selling. And I said, I'll be back this afternoon with my dad. So I went and got my dad, and we met with Mr. and Mrs. Reedhard, and they gave us a price. So we first contacted them on a Thursday, and then we met back and contacted them on Friday and arrived at a price. And that afternoon we brought one of his clients over, who was a lady doctor, who made an offer with owner financing, and we sold it on the Saturday. And that's how I got started in the apartment business. Since that sale,
Yeah.
since that one sale, I've probably made 40 other sales of apartment buildings in the Southeast Heights because of that one contact, and their son-in-law and his wife, and through the years, have been reselling a lot of their apartments. And that's how we got started.
It is interesting. Commercial real estate is a people business,
Yes.
and it's making relationships with people.
Exactly.
So now that you're selling all kinds of sizes of apartments. You've been, smaller ones, large ones, really large ones. And what do you think when people look? I mean, when people look at an apartment, multifamily investment, what are three of the most important things they need to be aware of?
Well, I think construction and location, and depending upon the age of the building, what upgrades have been made. Right now, the first thing I look at is windows, and then I look at the rest of the building as far as roof, heating, mechanical. I look at the blacktop.
The parking lot.
Parking lot, yeah. I really think those things make a big difference. In fact, I was talking to a seller today over in Grants, and he was sorry that he didn't resurface his parking lots 2 years ago, because probably the cost of blacktops gone up twice, number one. Number two, due to the pandemic, as far as getting labor out there to do it, is really going to be a task.
You work with a lot of people and different investors that are looking. One of the things you've been able to do is, like you said, you remember the story, when you first got into real estate that long ago, and the people and the impact they made on you. But do you see, the apartment market and the multifamily market continues to is pushing up on pricing, especially on rents.
Yes.
And obviously expenses are going up too, but what do you see, where do you see rents going, say, in the next 2 years? If you had a crystal ball, what would you say?
I think they're going to continue to go up at least this next year, probably another 15 to 20%. Might level off a little bit. But you know, it's all supply and demand. And with interest rates going up and pushing people out of the residential market, it keeps them in the rental market. And with supply and demand and still the lack of construction, even though there's a lot of construction going on right now, but it's the higher end units, you're going to see your lower middle class and your middle class tenant are going to be paying rents of $1.50 to $2 a square foot, which, you know, 3 years ago was unheard of. But that's the market today. As far as values go, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a unit that went for $80 a unit or $90 a unit, that was almost unheard of. Now we're seeing prices jump over into some of the more undesirable areas over $100,000 an apartment, and they're getting it. And
Yeah,
that's just the market.
Yeah, we were looking at one the other day. It was over $350,000 per door.
Yes.
For one apartment. So that is incredible how that's. And I guess I agree with you. With the rise in interest rates, I still won't be building as many homes. So the apartment market will stay strong for a long time.
Yeah, and there's a certain segment of the market, of a class of individual, that does not want to own a home. They would rather just rent, pay one check where their utilities are covered, their maintenance is covered, and that's just their mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you do have that type of clientele, a tenant, and it could be someone in their 20s to 30s into 70s and 80s that just want to pay one check, do not want to hassle with management, maintenance, any of that.
Well, good. Well, thanks so much
You're very welcome.
for being a part of SVN for the last 7 years. I appreciate you being here
I'm glad to be
and
here.
your professionalism and the way you work and show up every day. You know,
Even on Sunday.
But thank you so much for
You're
being
very
here.
welcome.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, it's Walt Arnold, Managing Director at SVN Commercial Real Estate in Albuquerque, and my guest today, Tim Luten, who sells a multifamily product for SVN here, and very long in the commercial real estate business and the multifamily business. I appreciate him being here and being a part of SVN. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found what we talked about beneficial. Please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to talk to me directly, click on the link below and we'll set up a time to talk.